Alaska Petroleum Company, now more than ever energizing Alaska.
Cook Inlet Sports presents the Cook Inlet Conference Football Coaches Invitational Tournament, featuring the Rail Belt Conference champions, the North Pole Patriots, and the Cook Inlet Conference champions, the East High Thunderbirds. Well, good afternoon, everybody around the state of Alaska, and welcome to a beautiful Saturday afternoon with temperatures in the mid-40s, no wind, an ideal football day for this Coaches Invitational Championship game. I'm Dick Lobdell, along with Bob Dorado, former East High coach, the only professional statistician in the state of Alaska, Dave Foreman, and Jerry Helvey roaming the sidelines. And now let's go.
Defensive unit for the North Pole Patriots. Starting at defensive end, number 76, Gene Bennett. Starting at defensive end, number 65, Bill Havard. Starting at nose guard, number 34, Terry Moore. Starting at middle linebacker, number 19, James Bowie. Starting at inside linebacker, number 56, Derek Gurley. Starting at inside linebacker, number 11, Kevin McHenry. Starting at outside linebacker, number 51, Tom Darnell. Starting at outside linebacker, number 44, Mark Peterson. Starting at cornerback, number 28, Robert Massey. Starting at cornerback, number 4, Jeff Speckman. Starting at free safety, number 45, B.J. Cabe. The rest of the North Pole Patriots head coach, Todd Larson. Introducing the starting defensive unit for the East High Thunderbirds. Starting at defensive end, number 22, Jason Sperling. Starting at defensive end, number 40, Robert Johnson. Starting at nose guard, number 54, John Jaworski. Starting at defensive tackle, number 65, Bruce Citamona. Starting at defensive tackle, number 70, Tony Jackson. Starting at linebacker, number 42, Paul Bear. Starting at linebacker, number 73, Cap Ofu. Starting at cornerback, number 7, David Dupleshain. Starting at cornerback, number 44, Eugene Chang. Starting at strong safety, number 11, Mike Harms. Starting at free safety, number 45, Mike Fritsch. The rest of the East High Thunderbirds head coach, Bruce Shear.
Well, you a little excited?
I love it. You know, is there anything like high school sports, Dick Lobdell. I really do. I wish this place was jam-packed to the gills. We don't have a great crowd, but the enthusiasm's here, and it's a very meaningful thing to both schools, both coaches, and of course, the most important thing of all, it's very meaningful to all of the players.
Well,
it's not very often that you get an opportunity to be involved in any kind of a championship situation, and they have this opportunity now, and I know that both teams and players want to take the most advantage to this.
Our national anthem by the East High Band. To go. We'd like to say a big hello to the folks watching up in the interior, and I know they're excited in North Pole. Got a lot of fans down here from North Pole to watch this football game. The T-Birds come in 8-0. The Patriots come in 7-0, and if I occasionally say the North Pole Knicks this afternoon, please excuse me. That's from the baseball season. Todd Larson is ready. He was ready Thursday when we were down here talking to him. They drove down, left North Pole early Thursday morning, 3 o'clock. We're out here practicing at noon. We're out here yesterday, but out here warming up quite a bit. They are the underdogs. The T-Birds are going for their 3rd straight state championship and their 29th straight victory. Will that be enough to fire up North Pole? You've got to stop the T-Birds early, Coach.
There's no question about it, Dick. The Thunderbirds are a team that has been very explosive. They're also a team that has been able to do whatever they have to do to win football games. You'd see them in a situation where it would look like it's going to get awfully tight, and you would think that they would be in a corner and they couldn't come out of it. But every time that we've seen them play in the last 3 years, they have been an opportunity. They have taken advantage of all the opportunities, and they have played good football. So let's hope it is a good football game, and I don't think the Knicks are, well, back. Here's a kick.
Bill Harvard on a short kick. Paul Bear fumbles and falls on the football at the 35-yard line. Here's the starting offensive lineup for the T-Birds. Mike Harms, all-conference quarterback, number 11. Jason Sperling, number 22. It'll be Eugene Chang, scheduled to be in there, number 44, and Paul Bear, the big fullback. And that is the set. Harms to throw.
Oh, my!
Mike Harms down for a loss and maybe a fumble. Was that a fumble?
Big
North
fumble.
Pole has picked up the ball.
Dick, let's take a look at a replay right here. Now, as you can see, Harms gets good pressure. There's no one open down the field. He keeps on going. He gets back. He makes another pump. Now, when he raises the ball up, bam, right there. You see the ball come bouncing out of there, and, of course, it's followed upon.
1st and 10, North Pole at the east 28-yard line. Speckman in motion, and down goes Lyman. Well, don't think this will shake up the T-Birds, because when they've been in a couple of predicaments this year, the game on the line, they have come through with flying colors. But North Pole has an opportunity to do what no other team has done this year, and that is take a lead on East High School. Pitch back. Here's Cabe. Good running room near first down territory. inside the East 20. B.J. Cabe, their leading rusher with 557 yards on the season. 3rd down and 2 at the Thunderbird 20-yard line.
B.J. showed good speed on that play. He turned the corner, did what he had to do, and picked up the 8 yards.
We'll set the North Pole lineup when we get the opportunity. Sean Lyman is the quarterback, number 12. Down he goes. Fumble. The Thunderbirds have recovered. Mike Fritsch pounced on the loose football. And that time it was the defensive line pressure that got to Lyman before he could even turn around and hand off, Coach.
Certainly looks that way. You know, the Thunderbirds, they have all the time created a lot of pressure defensively. Well, Black the live action right here.
Sperling on the wing left. And Harms, handoff. This is Eugene Chang, cuts it up the middle for about 9 yards. In on the tackle for the North Pole Patriots, Kevin McHenry.
Go!
2nd down and 8 at the 30-yard line.
Eugene Chang off tackle. Good kick out by Paul Bear. Eugene Chang cuts inside, makes a good run.
There's a pitch to Sperling, trying to skirt the right end, and he does, and he's got 1st down yardage, finally rolled out of bounds or rolled down at the 40-yard line by the North Pole defense. Rest of the lineup in there. Gary Condor starts at wide receiver, 84 for the Thunderbirds. Tight end is 45, Mike Fritsch. They throw a lot to him. And the guys who have been doing the job up front, Louis Monzon, Chris Jeffries, the tackles, Andy Parent, Robert Malone, the guards, and Victor Apollini, the center. That has been the strength of the Thunderbird offense all year, the offensive line. Paul Bear. And he busts it into the territory of North Pole, and a flag on the play.
Right there. You probably saw it at home. The face mask after the 1st down should tack on 15 more yards against the North Pole Patriots.
Paul Bear off tackle. Take a look at the power of Paul Bear. Boom, right there. Now right there's the face mask. You can see it. Good call. Official was right on it. I saw something happen unusual, though. One of the officials sent one of the football players, he sent a tackle outside, and I don't know why.
Paul Bear on the season rushed for 411 yards. Of course, Wiggins, the leading rusher in the conference, not starting. He's had a bad ankle for the last half of the season with 880. Sperling on the quick pitch. Jason Sperling rolled out of bounds near the goal line.
Jason Sperling, a quick pitch to Jason Sperling. The key to it is when they make the block to the outside. Now the block outside's made. Now Jason Sperling does an awful lot on just using his speed. Makes a good inside-out fake right there. Looks like he's going to score, and he gets it down to about the 10-yard line. Good play by the Thunderbirds.
Spots the ball at the 11. Louis Monzon, 74, the lead blocker. Here's Eugene Chang. Near the goal line. Touchdown. That second effort by Eugene Chang, and there is Thunderbird basic football.
Nothing fanciful. Just keep it in there, punch it in there like they usually do. And as you said, it is just good basic Thunderbird football. 6 points for the Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds go 77 yards in 5 plays.
Wow.
Sophomore kicker Jamie Erdachek out of the hole to Mike Harms on the extra point. And with 8 minutes and 31 seconds left in the first period of the state championship coaches invitational, the T-Birds 7, the North Pole Patriots nothing. Jerry Helvey on the sideline.
Dick, this is truly indicative of a state championship ball game. The emotions, the electricity is high. North Pole brings in the pride, the integrity of their community, a cross-state rival. And that always means higher intensity in any athletic sport, and it's here on the turf this afternoon.
As you can see, we just had the replay, and Chang just ran off tackle. It was sort of a buck ladder type thing, but he ran it in there. It was a good play by Chang, and it was well blocked. And that puts the Thunderbirds up 7-0 with 8 minutes and 31 seconds gone in the game.
Well, you hate to say that this is a crucial part of the ball game, but I think you both would agree North Pole has got to put something on the board early. Jamie Erdachek will kick. B.J. Cabe at the goal line. And gets out across the 20-yard line where it'll be North Pole ball. Let's set the offense now for the Patriots. Sean Lyman, the quarterback. Mark Peterson, 255-pound fullback. Jeff Speckman, number 4, and 45, B.J. Cabe. Sean George, number 20, is the wide receiver. The other wide receiver, Robert Massey. And up front, Gene Barrett, Sean Mine, Bill Havard, Tom Donnell, and the center is Derek Curley. Here's Cabe on a pitch. Could not turn the corner. Sperling was there, and David Duplachain up from the East secondary.
Duplachain came up on the outside in a good relationship, as he's supposed to do, and he held it to just 1 yard.
Defensively, the Thunderbirds line up with John Jaworski, the nose guard, Cap Afu, Tony Jackson, Bruce Citamona, and Jason Sperling, and Robert Johnson up front. Gives to the second back through for the North Pole Patriots. This time it's little Jeff Speckman, a senior at 5'10" and 160, and now a third down and 8 yards to go. The rest of the defensive lineup for the T-Birds. Paul Baer playing in there, I think, as a linebacker. He was scheduled to start, yes. Mike Fritz, Eugene Chang, David Duplachain, and Mike Harms is the free safety. Lyman to throw. To Peterson. Rolled out of bounds by Baer and Harms near first down territory in front of the North Pole bench.
Mark Peterson coming out of the backfield. Mark Peterson is a load, as you can see. Now watch the catch right here. Now look at Mark Peterson's power, and he gets him to first down. That's a tremendous effort by Mark Peterson.
6'4", 255. First down at the 36-yard line. Long count. Peterson, the fullback, rumbles up the middle and picks up 3 or 4 yards. Tony Jackson was hanging on, and Mike Harms in on the tackle.
Looks
Jerry.
like
Early in East Drive, Peterson, number 44 in Patriot team, got into a little scuffle with one of the East players. The referee did not choose to eject. He just sent him off the field to cool down.
Second down, and Lyman is tripped up at the line of scrimmage, or 73 was in on the tackle and got him, I think, just enough to upset him, and that was Cap Afu.
I talked to Bruce Shear before the ball game, and he felt Cap Afu has really come into his own. They started playing him at linebacker here the last 2 or 3 weeks. They said he is a road horse. He hunts them down and playing real well at linebacker for him right now.
Third down and 9 at the North Pole 36. Lyman to throw. Caught but out of bounds. Robert Massey on the reception, but he was out of bounds by a couple of feet.
The ball was thrown well, and in fact, the only person who could catch the ball was right there. It was a good throw, and it just goes for a long incompletion because it went out of bounds.
So it'll be a fourth down kicking situation. Doing the punting will be 34, Terry Moore. Chang and Duplachain are standing back on their own 30-yard line for the T-Birds. Straight up in the air. And it takes an east bounce, and it's picked out of the air by Emmett Barnes.
I'll tell you what, the East T-Birds were very lucky in that situation because they had players right underneath the ball who didn't know it was straight up above their heads.
Emmett Barnes did a wise thing there because nothing could go wrong. Even if he fumbled the ball, the Thunderbirds could have came back and taken the ball at first touching. So if he would have ran that in, it would have been 6 points. Good play by Emmett Barnes. That's a good play for a sophomore to be heads up and to be able to look at some of that type of things.
All right, the line of scrimmage is the 38, so it was a 2-yard play. Thunderbirds with Chang in motion to the right. Harms is going to throw. He's got Chang.
Oh, my.
Eugene will be talking to himself coming back to the huddle. Mike Fritz says it's all right. He was wide open.
Eugene Chang comes in motions. As you can see, Harms drops back. He throws the ball right on the money. Eugene Chang for nothing. Could have been 6. Wow.
2nd and 10 at the North Pole 38-yard line. T-Birds leading 7-0. Eugene Chang up the middle and still going. Finally wrapped up by 51 Tom Darnell.
And we're having some extracurricular activities. This could get interesting before the game's over.
It could get interesting. It looked like someone just grabbed someone and threw him to the ground in a double
number
takedown.
66 for East, Christoph Jeffries, just got thrown down.
It is 3rd down. Ball at the 33. 3rd and 5 East. Arms to throw. It's completed. This time it was Mark Snell, number 82. He alternates with Gary Corder. 1st down, Thunderbirds inside the North Pole 10-yard line. Harms disguised that very well, Coach.
Mark, he really did. Harms is a good quarterback. I think he's been underrated, even though he was an all-conference quarterback. I don't think people expect him to be able to do the things he's been able to do this year.
1st down at the North Pole 10-yard line. Harms again. Incomplete. B.J. Cave, and they're going to call interference. Well, let me give you the officials. The officials today in this second game: the referee Bill Bauer, the umpire Lester Francine, the linesman is Ron Miller, the line judge is Bill Mazak, the back judge is Ron Henderson. 71 years of officiating experience.
That must mean these guys are pretty old.
Brian McKay is the clock operator. Mr. Melton, McIntyre, and Rowland are the chain crew. And if you notice, they got a patch on the side of their shirts that says, "Say no to drugs."
Excellent.
1st and goal at the 4. Eugene Chang got through the initial line, but the linebackers were there to swarm him and do a little intimidating. Derek Gurley was up at the bottom of the pile.
It'd be interesting, and Jerry, why don't you sort of listen down there and see, are these people talking back and forth to each other next go around here?
Well, the intensity level is high, and that's why we're seeing a little scuffle, because they stay with their blocks till the whistle is blown.
Harms going to run it in. Touchdown, East High.
That's that naked bootleg we've seen several times from Mike Harms. It works again for 2 yards and a touchdown. And that makes it 13-0 in favor of East.
Officially, it's a 4-yard run for Mike Harms. And here's Jamie Erdachek on the extra point attempt. And for the sophomore, it's good. With 3 minutes and 36 seconds left in the first quarter, the East High Thunderbirds, going after their 29th consecutive win, lead the North Pole Patriots by a score of 14-0. Jerry, although East jumped out to the quick lead, I don't think North Pole is intimidated at all. That's the feeling I get by the way they're playing, the intensity down there.
No, absolutely not. North Pole is not intimidated. However, they are making some basic errors that allows East to do what they have done all year long. So they need to transfer that aggressiveness to the pads in blocking and tackling rather than the emotion of the game.
Erdachek will kick. Cabe is the deep man standing on the goal line. It's going to be an offside kick. And it's covered by the North Pole Patriots. Well, Shear's pulling out the stops.
He certainly is. Who would have ever thought he would do an onside kick being ahead 14-0? Here it is, the first quarter with 3 minutes and 35 seconds to go. Of course, the Thunderbirds at this point are ahead 14-0. A lot of emotion involved in this game, as Jerry said. Both teams are going to settle down now. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
All right, here's Lyman now on a pitch to Cabe. Got by Dublachane and has close to first down yardage. Mike Critchlow, 51, over to make the tackle. Little talking going on, but B.J. Cabe can get it around the corner.
B.J. sure can. Jeff Speckman, number 4 that time, made a block that cleared him, so B.J. ran the ball real well.
Second down and 1 at the North Pole 41-yard line. The big guy, Peterson. And he just bowls his way to the 45-yard line. It takes them 3 yards before they can grab him to try and stop him.
No question. He's a big one. Mark Peterson. He's a load, as they say. He made an awful lot of that by himself because there was not a lot of blocking up front.
First down, North Pole at their 45-yard line. Peterson up the middle, and 3 East tacklers try to bring him down. Critchlow, Capafu, and David Dublachane jumping on top. Gain of about 4. 2 minutes and 5 seconds clock running. 14-0 East first quarter. Speckman, and not much. Maybe a yard. Robert Johnson, the defensive end, would not budge. Third down, North Pole. Well, it's a multiple offense team, so they'll put the ball up. They're not going to run it up the middle all day long, but
certainly they both run the same offense, by the way. They're both running out of the wishbone. It looks like both teams are not opposed to throwing the football, so it's going to be a wide open game.
Moore is in there at fullback. Here's the pitch to Cabe. He's trying to turn the corner and gets near the first down yardage at the T-Bird 45-yard line. Sidestepped a couple of East High defenders. But it's going to be short by at least a yard, Dave Foreman says.
I like B.J. McCabe. As you can see, he makes a good cut right here. Good block. Now, B.J. doesn't go down. He gets his hand down, and it's awfully close. Big play right here.
Fourth down, and Lyman on a quarterback sneak appears to have the first down. Bill Bauer says yes. So the Patriots have the first down. Is that their first down, Dave?
That's their third first down. They've been moving the ball. Cabe, 4 rushes for 23 yards. Peterson with 3 4-yard runs for 12.
40 seconds to go. As we check out the scoreboard, clock is running at the East 44. Incomplete. And that was off the hands of number 44, who is Mark Peterson, out of the backfield, the big fullback.
Mark Peterson does it all, doesn't he? Good fake inside. Mark Peterson just went out into the flat. It was just a little too long. Could have been a big play for him, Dick.
Second down and 10 at the Thunderbird 44-yard line. Lyman to Cabe. And he is grabbed by the jersey and pulled down unceremoniously by Cap Mafu, number 73.
Capafu showed good quickness on that, coming all the way from his middle linebacker. That's a play that North Pole's had some success with, and Capafu made the good adjustment, came out and held the thing to a 1-yard gain.
Earlier today in the Consolation Bowl, the Diamond Lynx defeated the Soldotna Stars 28-13. Third down play for the Patriots as Lyman goes to the air over the middle, and it's caught. B.J. Cave out of the backfield for a North Pole first down.
But there's a
The throw is right
hanky.
there. Take a look at the catch. Excellent catch. We do have a penalty on the play, which takes it all for naught, but
You can see that this is a talented North Pole ball
Very
club.
much so.
Yes,
Peterson, very impressive up the middle. Cave has done some good things, both receiving the ball there and running.
they've averaged 215 yards per rush this year and 99 yards in the air. So they're a football team that's used to average, an awful lot of yards offensively. 314 yards per game, have scored a lot of points. They've scored at an average of 32 points a game, and their defense has played well. Their defense has only allowed about 70 yards on the run and about 70 yards on the pass. So they're a well-rounded football team. They're 8-0 at this point, so they're playing well.
All right, that is the end of the first period. Indication shows, although the clock shows 16 seconds, but no, that's a penalty.
That was a
Big
spot
time
of the
penalty,
foul
yeah.
penalty, which took them, it ended up being about a 25-yard penalty, not counting the yards they lost on the pass play.
I should say that I can't see the clock here, so I'm guessing half the time. Third down and buku yardage, as we say, and they hand it up the middle, and there is nothing there this time as they try and give it to the big guy. And Peterson. Terry Moore in there in place of Peterson, 34. So now it'll bring up fourth down, and there is the end of the first quarter with our score. The East High Thunderbirds 14, the North Pole Patriots nothing. Jerry Helvey.
Well, clarification on the penalty was a blocking below the waist penalty, so that brought the ball back the yardage after the point of the foul. One point that I want to make is that in baseball, they say you have to be strong up the middle. Shortstop, second base, center fielder. Both of these teams are strong up the middle. North Pole has big, strong interior linemen. Maybe the biggest team that East has had to face. They are physical. So it'll be interesting to see as time goes on here how the interior linemen, the linemen from both teams match up to change the complexion of the game.
Fourth down in a kicking situation. And Terry Moore gets one way up in the air. And Dublachane on the fair catch at the 40-yard line. So the Thunderbirds back in business offensively, and there is Todd Larson. Todd has done a good job in his 3 years. He was 3-5 in '85. He was 4-3 last year, and this year 7-0. So he's got a lot of kids playing for their third year for Todd Larson.
He's
that
done
makes a
real
difference.
well. He's done real well. There's no question about it.
First down, East High at their own 38-yard line. We have not seen the league's leading rusher yet, Dwayne Wiggins. Chang in motion. Harms. Fritsch wide open up the middle. And Fritsch is down to the North Pole 41-yard line. Mike Fritsch has been a consistent receiver all season long for the Thunderbirds. Harms number 2 in passing in the Cook Inlet Conference with 34 completions and 78 attempts for over 500 yards. Eugene Chang and dives forward down to the 35-yard line.
Eugene Chang gets every inch out of every carry, Dick. As you can see, when he gets ready to go down, he puts his hand down, he fights, he scrapes, he does whatever he has to do, and he picks up an extra 1 or 2 yards just by being aggressive when he runs the football. That's good.
Second down and 4 at the 35 in North Pole territory. Harms fumbles the ball.
Could it be?
Paul Bear. Bell Havard picked up the fumble.
You bet you, baby. That's what we got to do.
would have been 53 yards if he'd been able to make it the whole way.
Bill Havard, right there's a fumble. Now watch the ball pounce up. This is a dream probably of Bill Havard. He'll see this in his sleep. He's running. It looks like he's going to do it, folks. Is he? No, he's run down by Paul Bear. The ball on the
15-yard line. First down, North Pole. Quick pitch to Cabe. Trying to get to the outside. Cannot get around the corner. Robert Johnson, the defensive end, held his ground and allowed his buddies, including Jason Sperling and David Duplachain, to make the tackle. Loss of a yard. Second down, 11 at the Thunderbirds 16-yard line. Lyman on a run. He's got some room. Gets down to about the 12-yard line. Reminiscent of the Harms touchdown run earlier in the first quarter. East has never trailed the entire season.
It looks like he had an opportunity to throw or run the football, and he did the wise decision. He kept the football, ran it in there, and picked up about 3 yards on the play, Dick.
Ball at the 11. Third down. There's a pass to the end zone. It is touchdown, North Pole. Robert Massey, number 28 on the reception.
What a throw. Lyman throws the ball the only place it can be caught, and watch, it goes right over the tip of Duplachain, and Massey makes a great catch to put him on the board for 6. Holy
Bill Havard, they're going to go for 2. Lyman throwing off balance, caught by Peterson, but he will not get in the end zone. So the extra point attempt is no good, and with 9 minutes and 19 seconds to go, it is East 14, North Pole 6. We got a football game.
You gotta love it. Larson didn't come down here to tie. He came down here and said, we're in this thing, we want to play, we're playing this football game. We didn't make the big 500-mile trip to tie. We're here to win the football game. He went for the fake. It looked like it could be there. Someone made a great hit. Duplachain, I believe, got a good hit and held up Peterson, and then a whole host of Thunderbirds came in, and the 2 points was for naught, and it's 6-14.
I want to ask Jerry Helvey, could you see the light in Bill Havard's eyes as he was running to the goal line, Jerry?
Yes, he was very close to the sideline, and the farther he ran, the wider his eyes got, and his tongue just started to hang out before Bayer tagged him.
Well, he's not going to get any rest because he's going to have to kick off. Chang and Duplachain of the deep bend. It'll be Duplachain at the 25. Cuts it back up the middle. Now gets to the sideline. David Duplachain. Run out of bounds in North Pole territory. Finally by Kerry Neiman, the senior 5'5" and 127 pounds of fighting intensity.
Duplachain made a fake like the ball was going to be handed off, kept the ball, actually broke 2 tackles, and then made a big run for the Thunderbirds.
First down at the 43-yard line for East High. Here's Eugene Chang. Trying to get to the outside, breaks 1, breaks 2, and finally turns the corner. And that's as fine a run as you're going to see, Coach.
Eugene Chang, as you said, Dick. He came, he got hit, he spun, picks up about 9 yards. Awful lot of the effort is just Eugene Chang running the football. That's running the football with intensity. That's what you're looking for when you've got a running back.
Second down and 1 for the Thunderbirds. Eugene Chang near first down yardage. Getting up off the bottom of the pile, 34, Terry Moore for North Pole. 14-6 with 8 minutes 54 seconds left to go as we get a front coming in and a little famous Anchorage drizzle. They did not make the first down. It's third and less than a yard. Here's Paul Bear, the big fullback, and he rumbles up the middle across the 25 to about the 22-yard line.
Paul Bear running the football off tackle. He's on touch for about 6 yards. Then he makes a great run. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league, Dick.
Making the tackle, Kevin McHenry and Robert Massey got away from Bill Havard, and now it's first down, T-Birds.
One thing we haven't mentioned, North Pole does not do very much substituting. As this game rolls on, North Pole could be in trouble, especially in the third and fourth quarters.
Ball at the Patriot 25-yard line. Dwayne Wiggins for the first time, and he has hit at the line of scrimmage and maybe forward for a yard, but that is all. That's being generous. Second down and 9 for the Thunderbirds.
Well, as you know, Dwayne Wiggins is the leading ground gainer for the Thunderbirds, 880 yards for the season, and he's been hurt an awful lot. North Pole has not given up much to the rush. 69 yards per game. That's not much.
Wishbone. Harms on the naked reverse. There's your play, Dave.
Yeah, second time. First time was for a 2-yard touchdown. This time it's a first down for Harms.
Mike Harms, this play's going to make him all conference. In fact, it has. As you can see, a good fake by Harms. He turns the corner. He's got the end that faked out, and he gets out of bounds after a first down. Good play, Mike Harms.
Put the ball at the Patriot 14-yard line. Clock running, 7:51. Thunderbirds lead 14-6. Two backs in behind. Harms runs it up the middle. Mike Harms, touchdown Thunderbirds.
Well-designed play, quarterback draw. They got the good blocking at the line of scrimmage, and that's all it took.
I haven't seen that play all year. I think that could be one of the plays they put in this ball game. Mike Harms runs the football real well. Dropped him back just like he's going to throw the football. It's called a quarterback draw. Mike Harms up the middle, 6.
Erdachek out of the hold of Mike Harms on the extra point. And it is 21-6. The Thunderbirds over the North Pole Patriots. Little drizzle out there, Jerry. You getting a little wet?
Yes, a little drizzle. I don't think it's a factor in the game because it's not heavy enough, and the officials are doing a good job of trading the balls, bringing new balls in, keeping them dry. So it's not a factor yet, Dick.
Mike Harms drops back. He drops back now. Going forward, makes a good cut right here. Mike Harms, 6 points. The blocking was exceptional. Good deceiving play by the Thunderbirds. They have a good game plan. Dick, you gotta like the Thunderbirds. They just execute so well. It's a fun football team to watch just because they do these things.
Taken by one of the up men for the North Pole Patriots, trying to get to the outside, and he can't do it. This time it is Jay Pearson. Down he goes, and the North Pole Patriots will start trailing 21-6 at their 30-yard line. I've kind of been impressed with Sean Lyman so far at quarterback for the North Pole Patriots.
Sean Lyman has played real well. He's throwing the ball well. He's executed and made good fakes when they're running the football. Sean Lyman's a good football player, as you said, Dick, and he's a senior, and I'm sure they expect a lot out of Sean because of that.
3 backs in behind. Cabe trying to get to the outside, and he can't do it, and a little extracurricular activity on the line. The linemen are a little testy today.
A little testy. There's a lot riding on this ball game
Jerry?
right now.
Well, I'd like to say something in reference to that. Last week in the Region 4 playoffs, we saw a couple players ejected, much to the chagrin of both coaches. And it looks like to me that maybe the referees today have decided that they want the kids to play. If the motion doesn't interfere or safety isn't involved, then they're going to let them play. It looks like they have so far.
Second down and 12 as Lyman goes to the air. He's got a man, Peterson, but he can't get to it. Robert Johnson was the defender. Hey, I'll tell you, this North Pole team is physical, and if East is a physical team, the Patriots say we'll give it right back to you. That's the name of the game, Coach.
You know, football is a collision game. You know, there's one of these coaches that came up with contact and, you know, the dance. I can't remember who was that guy anyhow. Somebody.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Contact sport.
Lyman in the grass with Sperling. It's away from him. And then Harms coming up from the secondary drops him for another loss, and it's going to be fourth down at about 15 at the Patriot 25-yard line.
Football's a contact sport. Oh, collision sport. I got it now. I got it. Football's a collision sport. Dancing's a contact sport. It's one of these great Yahoo coaches who doesn't have anything to do thought of that. Who was that anyhow? It had to be probably Woody Hayes or one of those guys.
Terry Moore to punt for the Patriots. And he booms.
Oh, my. Now that's a big league punt right there.
Duplachain looked at Chang. Chang looked at Duplachain, and they said, let's get away from this thing. So the T-Birds will have the ball at the 41-yard line. First and 10 in their own territory. 5 minutes and 49 seconds to go. And the Thunderbirds up 21-6. They have never trailed this year. I doubt seriously, and I'm not sure if North Pole has been behind. This may be the first time they've been behind this year, too.
In their last game, I think they may have been tied going in because they end up scoring a touchdown to win it.
Chang back in at running back. Bear goes in motion. Here's Chang on the quick pitch. Eugene Chang finally rolled out of bounds in front of the T-Bird bench, and he will have first down yardage and more into North Pole territory. Eugene Chang, there's a flag on the play.
Paul Bear goes in motion, makes a good block. Eugene Chang turns the corner, makes a good fake inside. Now Eugene Chang, cut up. Ah, good run, Eugene.
But it's not going to matter.
It isn't going to matter. Eugene just made a great run. It looked good to the folks back home, but it doesn't count.
So the Thunderbirds get penalized.
What's the penalty? Holding. Thunderbirds.
We're midway in the second quarter, and that's their first penalty.
That's a first for the Thunderbirds.
We were just talking to Bruce the other night on the radio show about him being the most penalized team, and I asked him, I said, is it because you got the ball so much? He said, I don't know. We didn't break it down in offense and defense, but when you're aggressive, you're going to get those penalties.
That's right. And I've got to say, the coach before him also used to lead the league in penalties every year. And I used to just couldn't believe that they would call all those penalties on the Thunderbirds.
You lead the league in every negative statistic.
Well, Bruce Shearer, he came up with it, though. He said, hey, if you're going to be aggressive, you're going to get some calls. Bruce, that's about as good as anybody can say, that you're not displeased, but you're not pleased, sort of riding the fence. But I have to agree, if you're going to be aggressive, you are going to get penalties.
In other words, don't get discouraged if you do get a few penalties.
It's easier to...
What's going on down there, Jerry?
Well, I'm not sure. I was looking at...
maybe they made a wrong spot.
Judge. I think they changed the spot of the ball, Dick.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Well, they'll put it at the 34-yard line.
Well, that's the... a 15-yard penalty. It only looks like it's only been measured off 3 yards here.
Here's a quick pitch to Sperling. He tries to turn the corner, get about 4 yards, and he's rolled out of bounds. Peterson on the tackle. Well, they may be trailing 21-6, but this is a tough football club. No huddle.
Oh, quick play.
Arms over the middle, and it is incomplete. And it was Mark Snell, the intended receiver. 3rd down and 8 for East High School.
Harms, incomplete, right? The ball really should have been caught. When it hits you right in the hands, you don't have any excuse. You should catch the football. Draw.
Eugene Chang. And he gets down to the 44-yard line in North Pole territory, and that should be good enough for the 1st down. Big play, East High.
Eugene Chang's an all-conference football player. Good fake by Harms. Gives the ball to Eugene. Look at the hole. I mean, he's not touched for the first 10 yards. Eugene Chang for about a 12-yard run. 1st down. Wow.
1st and 10 at North Pole's 44-yard line. Wiggins back in the game. Sperling in motion. Harms to throw. Wiggins out of the backfield. And to the 35-yard line. Jerry Helvey.
Well, Dick, a point that I want to make is that we are, regardless of the score, we are seeing as probably one of the finest football games we've seen probably this year and in several years based on these two teams' records. But this is exactly why Coach Huffer and some of the other football coaches in the state pulled and pushed until we got a state playoff. This is what it's all about. It brings out the best in athletes, the best in schools. It just is real good for athletics in Alaska.
Sperling comes in motion right. And Harms to throw. Incomplete. Snell was the intended receiver. Cabe was the defender. And a flag at the line of scrimmage.
Against East again.
Well, you want to guess it's a holding call?
No, it's the motion penalty. One of the backs must have taken off. Probably the back that came in motion cut up field before the snap of the ball, which is an illegal procedure. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. It was a good time to be taking the penalty. The Thunderbirds are going for the big kill right here.
2nd down and 8 at North Pole's 42-yard line. Here's Jason Sperling going to the outside. And he's going to be about 1 yard shy or 2 yards shy of the 1st down. Let's see where the spot of the football is. 3rd and 2.
This probably had to be an interesting game for both coaches. They both run out of the wishbone. Both of them basically run. It looks like they run basically the same defense. So there's a lot of similarities in these two teams.
Harms looks. Harms runs. Harms is close to the 1st down. What do you think, Dave?
He has it.
What an educated eye we have up here.
He's just sitting further over to the right.
Without lines on the field, I'm just in the right place.
So it's 1st down, East High School. Line of scrimmage, now the 33. Light drizzle falling should not have that much effect on the AstroTurf. Here's Eugene Chang. Breaks a couple of tackles and crosses the 25 to the 24-yard line. Terry Moore on the tackle for North Pole.
Eugene Chang, very elusive.
He's been running hard today.
And
Eugene Chang, you just get an opportunity to watch a good back. Look at the balance. Boom.
Well, this is his season. He had to sit on the bench and watch Mr. Bertelson for a couple of years.
Sure did.
2nd man, Eugene Chang. And down across the 20 to about the 18-yard line. Good motion in the backfield by the Thunderbirds.
He has some God-given talent, Dick. You know, you just don't all the time have some of the things that he's doing. When he got ready to be tackled, just that last run, he just give a sort of a chuck and a jive, and he sort of jumped up, and the guy missed him. And he's got some elusive moves about him.
17-yard line, 2-minute mark. Here's the naked reverse. Harms trying to get away, trying to turn the corner, and he is drug out of bounds on the far side of the field. In on the tackle was Derek Gurley for North Pole. Almost caught Harms for a big loss, but he slithered away.
Harms has nice speed. I'm sure that North Pole has seen that play enough to realize that that defensive end has got to get a little more depth and not be so quick to come inside. If he does, he can stop that play.
Ball at the 13-yard line. Second down. Eugene Chang. The jersey and a little piece of tape is all that Kurt Wade could get a hold of.
Eugene Chang almost had another 6.
So now they spot the ball inside the 10-yard line.
Cuts inside, makes a good dip inside, and then comes outside. Look at the shirt. He had a hold of his bottom shirt.
Ball at the 7, first and goal, East High. I formation behind Harms. There's the reverse. Duplachain.
Gonna throw it.
Gonna throw it in the corner all by himself. Touchdown, Mark Snell. Boy, is that sheer getting fancy, huh?
Maybe we thought we'd seen it all.
If I take a look at that play, that's a double reverse pass. He's got Duplachain, who's a backup quarterback, puts him in motion, throws it right there, the handoff to Duplachain. Duplachain gets a good depth, plants his foot, throws the football. Mark Snell standing all alone, 6.
And Erdachek's kick is off to the right and no good. So with 44 seconds left in the first half, it is the East High Thunderbirds 29-27 and the North Pole Patriots 6.
It's fun to watch all this scoring. I had an assistant coach who loved that play. We used to run that play all the time when I was coaching. And he coaches basketball over there, but he likes those double reverse passes and all that kind of stuff.
I want to ask Jerry Helvey, you have a very special halftime guest, I understand.
Well, I do, Dick.
Here he comes now.
Very special halftime guest.
Very special.
We'll let it be a surprise.
Yeah. We don't want to scare anybody off right now.
That's for sure.
Jamie Erdachek to kick. B.J. Cave, it's a live ball. It's still a live ball. Cave gets away. B.J. Cave, and he got tripped up by his own man.
B.J. Cave almost...
B.J. Cave had one too many blockers, I'm afraid. He was looking around for East High Thunderbirds, and
the ball bounces around, hits B.J. You think he's down, but he's down. He doesn't have the ball. Then he gets up, picks up the ball. B.J. now cuts upfield, picks up one block right. Doesn't pick up a block. Keeps going. Now B.J. makes a cut right here. He's tripped. Yes. Big play at that point.
Well, that's one of those plays where the ball's bouncing around that the coverage outruns the ball because there's about 5 Patriots out in front of B.J. Cave.
Don Larson, the ex-West High Eagle coach, used to teach it. He used to tell his players when the ball is kicked, you fumble the ball so everybody can get down. You wait for the people to get down, then you don't have to break with so much of an angle because once they get down, once you break through and then you're running free. He's right if they break through. If they don't break through, then it's not much of a gain. You got to remember that.
All right, ball at the 41-yard line at T-Bird territory. 29 seconds to go in the football game as the clock starts in motion. B.J. Cave trying to cut it back up the middle. He gets away from one, but he can't get away from the second tackler. Harms gets up off the bottom of the pile. He's a very elusive little running back.
B.J. Cave does an awful lot for the North Pole football team. He runs back punts. He does it all. He's elusive also. He's a real nice running back.
Well, there's Todd Larson, the head man. Took over in 1985 from Ben Carpenter. Carpenter was there for 2 years, Ken Carr for a year, and a guy by the name of Larry Smith was the North Pole Patriot coach in 1980 and 1981.
Who?
Larry Smith.
I remember Larry Smith. He used to come down here and He was a little excitable on the sidelines. He used to wear that green coat and jump up and down and scream and holler. God.
He was, what, about 3 years over at Service? Now down working out of the University of Oregon, I believe, in that area. So it is 2nd down and 9 at the East High 40-yard line. Lyman. He's going to run, and he's got some running room. Sean Lyman down to the 20-yard line. Taking a page out of the Mike Harms book.
Sean Lyman.
And
looks like he's going to throw the ball. Now Sean just shows his good athletic ability. Breaks 1, 2, picks up a block, continues to go. Sean makes a good play out of that. Puts them in a position so they can do something. It would be, I think, quite important to the North Pole. I was going to say the next North Pole for them to score at this point. I keep listening to you guys. And I'm having a hard
being the
time.
baseball commissioner here, you have that in your blood now, right?
Ball at the 20-yard line. 13 seconds left to go in the first half. The championship football game. Well, the Thunderbirds came in beating Chugiak 20-3. Diamond 34-7. Kenai 54-0. Bartlett 36-0. West 29-0. As we're back to live action.
Some kind of a throw to Peterson, I would think.
Lyman down to the end zone. Batted away by Eugene Chang, and he had the inside position that time as they tried to get the ball into the corner of the end zone.
7 seconds to go before half, so that's why they're trying to throw the ball so deep. Looks like they can get 1, possibly 2 more throws into the end zone. If they throw it any other place, if they don't score, the clock will run out.
Steve Bennett was the intended receiver. The east 20-yard line. Lyman.
Hook and ladder.
And Cave trying to fight out of bounds, and I don't know if there's going to be any time left on the hook and ladder. B.J. Cave, and that is the end of the first half. With our score, the East High Thunderbirds 27, the North Pole Patriots 6. Let's go down for a quick talk with Todd Larson, the head coach of the Patriots.
Coach, the T-Birds are quite a few points up on you, but still, you look at the game, and it looks like North Pole is still in it. A break here, a break there. What do you think offensively, second half?
We got to block somebody. Our offensive line hasn't touched a soul.
Okay, so we'll look for some blocking, some more offense generated second half then.
We're going to have to if we're going to stay in this game. Our defense is on the field too long. They're too powerful of a football team. They're running the ball too well. Our offensive line has to block somebody. I can't. Our offensive line haven't touched a soul.
Does a shortage of the number of players you may play have anything to do with that?
No, I play everybody on our whole team. Everybody that suits up plays in the game no matter what.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Yep, thanks.
All right, we're at the end of the first half of the Coach's Invitational High School Championship game from the Anchorage Football Stadium with our score. The East High Thunderbirds 27, the North Pole Patriots 6, as we welcome the folks in the interior of Alaska, in Fairbanks, North Pole, the Eielson area, as you're watching the championship football game, and we'll be right back with our special halftime guest. It is East 27 and North Pole 6.
Presentation of Cook Inlet Sports is made possible in part by a grant from Anchorage Refuse Incorporated, serving the Anchorage area's collection needs for over 20 years, and by Tesoro Alaska Petroleum Company, now more than ever energizing Alaska.
Next time, nature turns the camera on the filmmaker with a behind-the-scenes look at the making of nature's 3-part series on the Galapagos Islands. Discover the dangers they faced and their triumph in capturing some of the rarest footage ever put on film.
It was an awesome sight to look down into one of the most active and beautiful volcanoes in the islands.
the filmmakers' Perspectives of Paradise, next time on Nature.
Journey to the Galapagos Islands, Sunday night at 8.
Meet artists Daniel Darko, Paul Obiokor, and Vincent Mabry. Poet Mauricia Scott. Composer and pianist Stanley Willis. Producer and actress Shirley Staton. And dancer-choreographer Ronald Johnson. Some faces may be familiar, some will be new, but all of these artists are creating original work in Anchorage. Find out what they create and why they do their art on The Originals, an Exploring the Arts special, Monday night at 10.
Dorothy Sayers' Lord Peter Wimsey begins a new 4-part adventure this week in Have His Carcass. Don't miss Part 1 on Mystery, Thursday night at 9. This week on Great Performances, Dance in America, David Gordon's Made in USA features Mikhail Baryshnikov. Tune in Friday night at 9.
KAKM serves the following communities by translator: Talkeetna, Sutton, Bird Creek, Girdwood, Kenai Soldotna, Kisilov, Ninilchik, and Homer Seldovia. This is KAKM Channel 7, Anchorage.
Back at the Anchorage Football Stadium, being entertained by the North Pole Patriot cheerleaders. Our halftime score, 27-6. And while we have the opportunity, as we once again welcome all the folks in the interior watching the game this afternoon. Of course, we've been here all season long covering the Cook Inlet Football Conference, but it's our first opportunity to see the North Pole Patriots. We have heard a lot about them. And, Coach, we were just talking during the break. The score is 27-6, but this is not a bad football game.
That's really true, Dick. It's hard to say that, as you say, when the score is 27-6. I'm impressed with North Pole. They came in. They're doing things that they need to do. They're being physical. I think to beat the Thunderbirds, you got to be physical. You can't be making mistakes. And they have done some of those things. They've given up some big plays, of course, and you can't give up big plays. There's so many things you can't do because this is a good football team. But they're playing. They're being physical with them up front, and I think that's important. If they continue to do that, they're going to be highly representative of their conference. They're a young football team. I think that next year that could be their year. They may be a year away, but they're playing well. I'm impressed with them, really.
Well, we'd like to mention for our folks at Anchorage, as we watch the North Pole Gals perform, that we'll be back on the 14th of November with some more sports, including the girls basketball tournament over at East High, and then culminating at the end of April with the state wrestling tournament. We'll also be doing the Region 4 basketball and the hockey, which we got started doing last winter.
Dick, that looked like a mini version of the Chugiak
Chaparral. If you're just joining us, it is 27-6 halftime. East High leading the North Pole Patriots. And I think it's about time we go down for our very special guest. Would Jerry Helvey, would you like to introduce your special guest?
It would be a pleasure for me to introduce my guest and my friend, Tom, the Tougher Huffer from Chugiak, long-time football coach in the Alaska area and fine gentleman that all football fans respect. Tom, let's talk a little bit about the Invitational playoff and how it came about on the field today.
Well, the Invitational was introduced by Bob Swadesh, basically, and myself. In 1982, we decided to come up with some type of format, Jerry, of a state championship type thing, since they're not, it's not a sanctioned state championship deal with the OSSAW. But Bobby had the idea to bring in the top 2 teams outside of the Anchorage, the Cook Inlet Conference, and play our #1 team and our #2 team, and to see if we could formulate some type of state playoff type thing, and it was just it was an invitational, since it's cannot be sanctioned by OSSAW, because it's not played in 4 out of 6 of the regions in the state.
Okay, could you explain how you match the teams up? Who plays who?
Well, we try to get the best team, our #1 team in the Cook Inlet Conference against the best team that we feel is outside of Anchorage, the Cook Inlet Conference, basically, either the Northern Lights Conference or the Rail Belt. This is the 5th year of it, I think, and 3 of the 5 years it's been the Fairbanks team, 2 of Lathrop teams, and this North Pole team come down, and then 1 year was North Pole, and then of course last year was Palmer. And then we try to match it up against our second place team against the next best, which has always been the conference champion from the other conference if they were in the championship game. So that's kind of the thing that we've tried to do.
Okay, now you said we select. Could you tell us who that body is that makes these selections?
Basically, Jerry, it's been the coaches type thing that we say, hey, it's an invitation with the Cook Inlet. They've tried to leave it up to us as far as who the teams that they want to come down and invite, because we pay them a certain amount of money to come in here and in our first place team and championship team and in our consolation game too.
Okay, now you said that because there weren't playoffs in the other regions, we could not have a state championship. Do you foresee that in the near future?
Well, the problem comes that to be an OSSAW sanctioned thing, you have to play. There's 3 regions out of 6 regions in the state that play high school football. In order to be a sanctioned thing, it has to be 4 out of 6 in order to be an OSSAW state sanctioned thing, and that's how this came about. Figuring to add a little interest in this type of thing, and I think it has. I think it's been great for the game of football, and the teams that have come in here, especially 2 out of the 4 years, or half the years that we had it prior to this year. It's been a real heck of a football game, and this one it's yet to be determined, but at this point in time it looks East is a pretty good football team right now.
Well, I made the comment to Dick and to Bob that these kind of invitationals or season finale tournaments bring out the best in teams, bring out the best in schools and communities, and this cross-state rivalry has got to be good for football in both communities.
Yeah, no question about it. Lathrop's been down here a couple of times, and they played us real tough in '84, and they played East in '85, and now North Pole. It's a great thing for high school football in this state, and of course that's what we're all in for, is for the kids and the betterment of high school football in this state.
I've got one question for you, Tom, and that's, is there a possibility in the near future of maybe expanding this another week and making it a semifinal, final type thing?
Yeah, we'd like to do that, Dick, Richard. We'd like to do that at this point in time. It's been discussed. We haven't yet. I think it's a weather thing more than anything else. But a lot of the northern tier states, they play in worse weather than what we played in, over the years. And this is a nice day. It's a little wet out here right now, but as far as warmth goes, this is the best day. So, normally at the end of October it gets better. We just gotta go ahead and do that and play the semifinal, final game. It's just a matter of monetary money value at that point in time, and to get these teams to come back and do it all over again and get the winners played.
There was a little bit of a controversy over the selection of the team. Let's talk a little bit about Eielson as opposed to North Pole and that controversy, Tom.
Well, it wasn't Eielson, it was Eielson and Soldotna. North Pole was never a question, of course, because they were undefeated at the time. The question became between Eielson and Soldotna. And, every year it's been the winners of the Northern Lights and the winners of the Rail Belt. 3 out of the 5 years it's been the winners of the Rail Belt that have played in the championship game. And I don't know, it just got kind of to the point this year with that they invited Soldotna because they just kept over in service. Mr. Fisher, Mr. Hagman, and they had kind of thought winners and winners and winners, and I didn't contact those guys earlier in the week, the previous week, and they went ahead prematurely and invited people, or Soldotna, which is no problem. They were 5-2. They won the rail belt, or I mean the Northern Lights, and it was just kind of thing that the coaches felt after Eielson had played North Pole that Eielson should have been the second invite. And it was already done, so it was partially my fault for not getting a hold of those guys and saying, hey, hold off, because guys, here's the deal, and partially their fault for prematurely saying we're going to invite the champions of the Northern Lights Conference.
A little bit of mix-up in communication that'll be straightened out for next year.
That's all it was. Yeah, it's the first time it's ever happened, and no ill feelings toward those guys or anything like that, or ourselves, and it was just one of those things. I like seeing Buck Nystrom come down here. He's had a good program at Eielson, and the first year they should have come down in '83, and they didn't do it, but because it was the first year of it, when we had one game, and so hopefully down the road we'll eliminate the problem.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Dick.
We appreciate it. Jerry Helvey and Tom Humpher. It's 27-6. Let's go to our halftime statistics and see if there's anything revealing other than the score up on the board. Here's Dave Foreman.
Okay, waiting for the graphics to come up so that you can see there they are, the halftime statistics by team. Let's look at the halftime statistics by individual for the East High Thunderbirds first, who lead 27-6. Jason Sperling has carried the ball 4 times for 45 yards. Paul Bear, 2 carries for 19 yards. Eugene Chang, 11 carries for 74 yards. In the passing department, Mike Harms is 3 for 5, 53 yards. David Duplachain is 1 for 1, 7-yard touchdown to Snell to make the score 27-6. For the North Pole Patriots, who've looked pretty good, actually. Considering the score, the Patriots have put on a very entertaining game. B.J. Cabe, leading rusher, 8 carries for 27 yards. Mark Peterson has carried the ball 3 times for 12 yards. In the passing department, Sean Lyman, 3 for 7 for 23 yards. Now, since we didn't have a chance to get to the first quarter statistics, let's look at what the teams did between the first and the second quarter. You saw the totals, 76 total yards for the North Pole Knicks. Only 35 yards in total offense in the second quarter, as opposed to 125 yards for the East High Thunderbirds.
All right, our halftime score, 27-6, and we'll be back with the start of the second half. It is the Coaches Invitational State Championship football game from the Anchorage Football Stadium.
This is Edwin Newman. Join me for an unprecedented meeting of 7 men who are at the center of United States defense policy making for 20 years. For the first time, together in a public forum, all 7 living former secretaries of defense will discuss the arms talks, nuclear problems, and Star Wars, and the importance of a new approach to United States-Soviet relations.
Tune in Friday night at 10.
This is the next generation technology. This is a computer-controlled manufacturing cell.
Technology is increasing and an era of worker shortages is beginning. The need for business to become involved in education has never been greater.
We have chosen to compete against world competition in this location and to use the resources we have available to us to do that. Among those resources, in fact, the most valuable one are our people.
A Project Literacy U.S. program airs Wednesday night at 9. Trying Times, an original comedy series with major stars, writers, and directors, celebrates the humor and humanity of coping with life's changes. Don't miss the fun when the series begins with A Family Tree, Monday night at 10:30. The children's plan to save the ponies may be thwarted in the exciting conclusion of The Littlest Horse Thieves on Wonderworks, Saturday night at 8.
KAKM serves the following communities by translator: Talkeetna, Sutton, Bird Creek, Girdwood, Kenai Soldotna, Kisilov, Ninilchik, and Homer Seldovia. This is KAKM Channel 7, Anchorage.
Presentation of Cook Inlet Sports is made possible in part by a grant from Anchorage Refuse Incorporated, serving the Anchorage area's collection needs for over 20 years, and by Tesoro Alaska Petroleum Company, now more than ever energizing Alaska.
The Cook Inlet Conference Football Coaches Invitational Tournament. It's the North Pole Patriots and the East High Thunderbirds getting ready for the kickoff. We'll try to get some of the highlights in if we can, and let's do it right now, Coach. First touchdown.
Chang just makes a good run. There's nothing cute about it. He just makes a nice 11-yard run for his first touchdown. There's the play that's been real successful for them by Harms. Harms outside, it's about a 4-yard run, and he gets it in for 6.
Step back, step back, step back.
Same play, Harms again. Ah, there's the fumble. There's the fumble that we were looking for.
Bill Havard.
It looks like he's going to score, but he's run down by Paul Bear right here.
All right, ready to go. Now, keep in mind, if the Thunderbirds have had a letdown, it has come in the third period. Service had a chance in the third period, and Diamond last week had a chance in the third period. Let's see if North Pole will have a chance here in the third period against the Thunderbirds. Short kickoff by Erdicek. Cabe at the 20. And hit at the 30-yard line, and down he goes. So let's set the lineup for you for North Pole. They will come out with Sean Lyman as the quarterback. 44, Mark Peterson. Jeff Speckman. And B.J. Cabe is the running back. Sean George, Robert Massley, the wide receivers. Gene Barrett, Sean Mine, Bill Havard, Tom Darnell, and Derek Gurley up front for North Pole. 31-yard line is the line of scrimmage. Lyman to throw. It's complete to Peterson. And there's where 6'4", 255 pounds comes in handy. He just muscled that one away from David Duplachain.
No question about it. He just, as you said, it was just a muscle job right there. And Peterson, 6'4", 250. Coming out of the backfield, the ball's throwing well, but he also makes a good catch on this play. Thrown by Lehman. Peterson adjusts to the ball real well, actually takes it away, shows his strength. And he doesn't have great speed, but he is a big specimen of a fullback.
Came on a pitch out from the east 46-yard line, and he can't turn the corner. Sperling slowed him down. And Kapafu was over there to finish him off. Defensively, it is Jaworski, Kapafu, Tony Jackson, Bruce Citamona, Jason Sperling, and Robert Johnson up front for the T-Birds. With Bear, Fritsch, Chang, Duplachain, and Harms, the linebackers in the secondary. Massey left for North Pole. 3 backs in behind Lyman. To throw. Flushed out of the pocket to run. And Robert Johnson grabs him and hauls him down, but after a good game, the elusive Sean Lyman. And he picks up about 5 yards on the play.
Sean Lehman and Mike Harms, 2 good quarterbacks who have the ability to scramble. They don't get as much in trouble because they have the ability. They can move laterally, and they can run away from a lot of trouble. It's a good trait in the quarterback.
Ball at the 42-yard line. Incomplete. Robert Massey was the intended receiver. He was going in. The pass went outside, and David Duplachain was the defender, and brings up 3rd or 4th down for North Pole. All right, you're trailing 27-6. Do you punt, back him up, or do you go for it?
If you're behind 27-6, you go for it. They've got to do something. They've got to get in the game.
4th down at the East 42. Lyman to throw, Lyman to run.
Oh, my!
And Lyman should have enough for the first down. Andy Parent in the ball game defensively over there in on the tackle.
Sean Lyman running outside. Watch the block, comes back right here. I didn't get the number right. Boom. Boy, that is a blindside block. He didn't get the first down, but it is awfully, awfully close. And it's a Thunderbird football on about the 45, or about 35-yard line, Dick.
Started at the 37. He was less than a yard shy on the first down. Harms on a keeper, but this time they were not biting. And it was Mark Peterson who stayed at home on Mike Harms as they faked it to Eugene Chang.
And was that Eugene Chang who looked around like, why didn't you give me the football?
I think it was a broken play.
Might have been.
There, he went to give him the football, and he didn't feel he was going to give it to him, so Mike Harms did a wise thing, and Peterson made a good play and made the tackle.
Sperling trying to get to the outside. Rolled down. Massey was over there. Terry Moore was over there defensively. It is Harms, Sperling, Chang, Bear. That's the backfield. Gary Corder and Mark Snell alternate at wide receiver. Mike Fritz, the tight end. Louis Monzon, Chris Jeffries, Andy Parent, Robert Malone, and the center, Victor Apollini, up front. The heart of the East High offense. Harms to throw. Fritz. And he is nailed as soon as he makes the catch. In on the tackle for North Pole was Jay Pearson.
Mike Fritz, good fake by Harms. Sets up, picks up a block, throws the ball. Fritz makes a good catch, turns upfield. Good tackle by Jay Peterson, and that's about it's a fourth down. So actually, they played that real well, Dick.
They could not get Fritz loose for the extra needed yardage, and now it'll be a kicking situation for the Thunderbirds. And Mike Harms is the punter. B.J. Cabe, single safety, standing at his own 25 for North Pole.
They're coming for the block, it looks like. They're sending them all.
Short kick and a fair catch by Cabe right at the 30-yard line. The East High defense, as we mentioned, will now take the field. It is 27-6, 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the third period, and the North Pole Patriots have to generate some offense. They were out working some plays, running through some plays, Coach, at halftime.
I thought that they would go in at halftime. The coach kept them out. Coach Larson kept them out. He made some adjustments. He said up front that his people just weren't blocking anybody, and so I think he'd give them a talking to also.
Lyman to throw on first down. He gets rushed. Still throws, and he's got a man, Cabe. B.J. Cabe. He tried to cut back up, and he could not get around Mike Harms, but a nice throw and a nice catch.
And if this isn't a clip against the North Pole Patriots, I've never seen a clip in my life.
Well, it was a flag.
If this is not you think this is a clip?
Let's watch it, see if you can see.
Sean Lyman, it being elusive, ducks away, hits B.J. right here.
And they say it's illegal use of hands.
Let's see if we can see the clip.
Okay, he pushed him.
So it'll be from the point of the foul, and they're talking to Kappa Fu, the East captain.
Kappa Fu, you take the penalty.
Did you start your recorder today? The magic of oil painting here in Anchorage will be seen at 5:30.
Oh yeah.
Computer Chronicles will not be shown this week.
That's okay with me. I'm ready for the big oil painting job.
So on the penalty, it puts the ball back to the 30-yard line. It'll be first down and 9, Dave.
What an advantage to have a quarterback that's elusive like he is. Dick, that could have been, he could have been throwing for a loss, but he scrambled and made a big play out of it. They pick up the clip, but it was still a good play by Sean Lehman.
Ball at the 31-yard line. Lehman to throw. Incomplete. Peterson out of the backfield was the intended receiver. Robert Johnson and Eugene Chang were over there defending for East High.
Mark Peterson came out of the backfield that time, and Sean Lehman was going to hit him into the flat, but it was an incomplete pass. It just looked like Mark Peterson couldn't quite get to the football, and there was a lot more pressure on Sean that time. The Thunderbirds are now realizing they may throw the football, and I think they're laying their ears back, and they're coming after him a little more.
Come on, offense!
Lyman out second down. incomplete. B.J. Cabe, the intended receiver. Eugene Chang, again, the defender.
I thought BJ was going to make a great play because what you have to do, you have to get up to the ball before you reach for it. BJ was running to the football. He looked back and started to pick up his speed, and then he looked back and the ball was just a little long, but he played it the way you're supposed to play it if you're a wideout. You got to run to the football before you can catch it.
3rd down, 9, North Pole, their 31-yard line. Trailing 27-6, third quarter, just over 8 minutes to go. Lyman throws on the run. Peterson cannot get to it. Right over in front of the East High School bench. And again, Lyman getting out of some trouble back there.
Well, they keep running this Mark Peterson on these 20-yard sprints. I don't know if Mark's going to last the whole game. He's a big, big athlete, and he's running an awful lot of pass patterns coming out of the backfield, and he also plays on defense. So he's a two-way player, and they're trying to utilize his speed and his strength, but they just aren't quite getting the football to him.
Terry Moore will kick. He'll stand on the Patriot 20-yard line. Duplachain and Chang are the deep receivers for East High at their 40. And they're going to run the football. Terry Moore up the middle. Terry Moore will be shy of the first down. So North Pole trying a little deception here, trying to catch the East defense, looking for the kick. And it almost paid off. They're about a yard shy, it looks like.
Terry Moore is the backup fullback. He puts the ball away. It looks like it could be there. He cuts inside. He breaks 1 or 2 tackles. He just doesn't quite get the first down.
Harms over the middle to Fritsch, and almost picked off by B.J. Cabe.
B.J. Cabe had that played well. Harms dropped back. B.J. was coming across the middle. It looked like he was going to make an interception, but he just tips it away, so it's a long, incompleted pass for the Thunderbirds. 2nd down on about the, 40-yard line, Dick?
37 to be exact. 7 minutes, 37 seconds left to play in the third quarter. There is the keeper, but a flag on the play by Mr. Harms. And as they say, when Harms carries the ball, get out of harm's way.
That could catch on.
We went the whole season without hearing that before.
Jerry.
It's amazing.
In harm's way.
Little trivia question for Coach Dorado. Does he know the win streak record, national record? We've talked about East High's win streak. Does he know the national record?
Well, he doesn't, but I do. Go ahead, you know.
74.
That's close.
Close, but no cigar.
77?
75. School
Close.
Back in Michigan. Right? Chang. Eugene Chang cuts it back up. Picked up about 6 or 7 yards, Jerry.
From the year 1975 to the year 82, Hudson, Michigan. I believe it was 72 in a row.
Well, if East wins today, that's 75 from 29.
Let Dave figure it out.
It's about 5 years away, so we won't worry about it for another, well, it'll make it about 10 years up here.
Gain of 4, ball at the 33. 2nd and 6. Here's the big fullback, Paul Bear, and he rambles down near first down yardage. Terry Moore in on the tackle. Paul Bear just put his head down and got the extra 2 yards, and good enough for a Thunderbird first down. They're on the move at the 25-yard line of North Pole.
Paul Bear, I keep saying he's so underrated. He sure does a lot of things correct, but there's good blocking. Paul Bear turns up, runs the ball well.
Back to live action. Bear is in the open and rumbles down near the 10-yard line.
This must be Paul Bear's series here, Dick. Designated Paul Bear series. 2 runs in a row for Paul Bear. Very unusual because he's usually the lead fullback in the wishbone offense, and he's usually a primary blocker, so it's good to see him get a little bit of recognition.
Ball at the 10-yard line. Paul Bear, and he's up the middle. It's a couple of yards. This time the North Pole defense says, not going to do it. Bill Havard leading the charge for the Patriot defense. Gain of 2 at the 8-yard line. They can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. But it's inside the 1-yard line.
I don't know what other adjectives we can use to describe the Thunderbirds in the last 3 years. They've just played great football, Dick.
Here comes Jason Sperling to the left, and he cuts it back up over the 5-yard line down near the goal line. Spot the ball at about the 2. It'll be 3rd down. A little over a yard to go for a first down. 2 yards for the touchdown.
Not cute, not fancy, just rock 'em, sock 'em. Woody Hayes, football. Knock 'em down, run the football.
Arms on a keeper. Touchdown, East High.
So with 4:48 left to go here in the 3rd quarter, East High Thunderbirds expand their lead now to 33-6 over North Pole. Harms scores for the 3rd time.
Jamie Erdachek out of the hold of Mike Harms. And the kick is good, says Bill Bauer. So with 4 minutes, 48 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, our score, the East High Thunderbirds 34 and the North Pole Patriots 6. Let's go down to the sideline, and Jerry Helvey, a little quieter here in the second half on the North Pole side.
Definitely is a little quieter, Dick. The players have settled in. You don't see the intimidation, the scuffles after each play that we saw the first half.
All right, let's take a look at the touchdown.
Mike Harms coming down the line of scrimmage. It's an option if someone tackles him, and then he pitches the ball. No one tackled him. He runs in. 6 points, Mike Harms. Jamie Erdachek, he's probably getting a sore foot. He's doing a lot of kicking off here.
Kickers delight today.
Come on now, hit! Onside kick. How about that?
Ball is fumbled.
East has it if it didn't go out of bounds.
What's the call? What's the call? It didn't go 10 yards, I don't think.
North Pole's ball. Nobody had possession when it went out of bounds, I think.
If you don't have control of the football, there's 2 things that could have happened. First of all, they would have thrown a penalty if it had been first touching by East. There wasn't a penalty, so obviously the ball was not under control, and that being the case, it belongs to the offensive team, which would have been North Pole. First down, 45-yard line, approximately.
Spotted at the 43. Lyman overthrows everybody. Boy, he aired that one out.
Little mix-up. BJ actually stopped on the play, it looked like, Dick. And what happened on that, he threw the ball outside, and BJ went inside. So just a long, incompleted pass.
You know, you coaches, you don't mind if you don't score that many points, but you hate to be scored on, don't you? Huh? You hate to have points put on the board against your team.
Well, if they don't score, they don't win.
43-yard line, second down, North Pole.
Here it comes.
Ooh, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, and that was number 88, Steve Bennett, and he got whacked. Third down and 10.
And that's 6 straight incompletions now for Sean Lyman. Not a good time to not be connecting with his wide receivers.
Well, there's one thing that he's doing. He's stopping that clock. There's always something positive that comes from a high school football
Could be prolonging the agony, however.
Go! This time they're going to throw the BJ. Yes, at BJ.
And he slips and falls, trying to cut it back up on Eugene Chang. trying to get him 1-1 out there. They figure that Cabe has got the good moves and the good speed.
I think it's a good idea. BJ is a good runner. He's elusive. You get him out on a 1-1 situation. If he happens to break one of those tackles, this could be a long gainer and possibly 6 points. 34-6. They need a lot of big-time breaks going into this right here, Dick.
3 backs in behind the lineman, who throws. Massey on the catch and drilled by Duplachain. Let's see if it's enough for the first down.
It is.
We've had some good hitting here today.
Very good hitting. Lehman throws the ball real well. Good catch. Duplachain comes up and hits him immediately right there. Drops him for the first down, but he played it real well.
Robert Massey on the catch. First down at the Thunderbird 31-yard line, as the onside kick was fumbled out of bounds, and so the Patriots getting excellent field position. Lyman overthrows Peterson. The ball may be a little wet, Coach.
It could be. You take a look at the Thunderbirds at this point. They are not holding back. Jason Sperling, who is actually a defensive corner, he came in on a corner blitz of some sort to the backside and just barely missed Sean Lehman. So they are realizing that they have to throw the football, so they're putting a big-time rush on and creating a lot of problems for Sean right now.
Second down and 10. Sean Lyman ready to throw. Puts it up in the air, and this time it is in and out of the hands of Duplachain. And again, Robert Massey, I think, was the intended receiver, 28. He was down there. So that'll bring up third down and 10 at the East High 31-yard line.
It looks like he's throwing the ball nothing but strikes. He's trying to go for the touchdown. Really what he needs to do is go in and settle his quarterback down a little bit and tell his football team, we can't throw everything as a home run. You just can't do it. You're going to have to run people out of there and throw underneath. Do something a little different. Every play that they're throwing, you know, is a 15, 20-yard play. That's tough. And it's awfully very difficult to complete. So the Thunderbirds know they have to do that. They're backed up. They're playing them back. They will give him stuff a little shorter. And that's what he needs to take. He needs to take whatever they will give him up to this point. And it's not going to be the long bomb, believe me.
Well, we mentioned the staff for the North Pole Club, the coaches for East High. Of course, the head man, Bruce Shear, but he gives a lot of credit to Frank Comerick, to Mark Whitehurst, to Andrew Mosby, to William Lyons, and to Sonny Tracksinger. They are the assistants, and they're as much a part, the assistants, as the head coach. Third down at the 31. Lyman over the middle, and it's incomplete. B.J. Cabe was the intended receiver. Mike Critchlow knocked it away, and it's fourth down, and I guess it'll be no surprise that the Patriots will go for it.
Now, that would be a surprise if they kicked the ball, that's for sure. I'd like to see him throw the ball underneath there, though, instead of trying to go for the long bomb. Throw it short.
Lyman will not get it off. Wrestled to the ground by Tony Jackson. Unceremoniously wrestled to the ground by Tony Jackson.
Well, Tony Jackson, watch in the middle. Gets good penetration. Tony Jackson for a takedown. 2 points.
Is he a wrestler?
I don't know, but he's big enough to be whatever he wants. He's 6'1", 265. That's a big guy.
First down, Thunderbirds, 36-yard line. Just over 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. And Sperling spins and gets away from one tackler. It's up near the 40-yard line. See where the spot of the football is.
Ever since I've been in Alaska, those Thunderbirds have always had running backs. I just don't understand it.
Big man up the middle, Bear, and his feet cut out from under him on a good one-on-one that time. Jay Pearson.
Why is that, Dick, that they have all these running backs?
You're asking me, and you were over there for 16 years?
You know how many times I
You just saw one of your running backs today.
Yeah. You know how many times I used to hear that? Where do you get all these running backs? I don't know where they come from, but, boy, they always have good ones, don't they?
Ball Bear. And Bear has first down yardage into North Pole territory at the 48-yard line. Well, I'll tell you, the reason that came up is because everybody is still wondering where you got Nate Vickers, who may have been the best running back ever to play in Alaska. We've had some good ones.
I think you're right.
Back in the mid-60s. Harms to throw, and he's got Fritz. Another first down. Pearson rolled him out of bounds at the 34-yard line, and East moving the football any way they want right now.
The ball is faked inside, outside. Harmstedt's back, hits the ball right on the money to Fritz. Makes the catch. Excellent play. He's taken down by Jay Pearson.
Ball at the 34. Here's Chang trying to get around Peterson. He does for a lot of yardage. And Chang finally rolled out of bounds down around the 15, inside the 15-yard line. Eugene Chang has had a big day. We have only seen Dwayne Wiggins for what, a couple of carries here today?
1 carry and 1 catch.
Dwayne Wiggins has had a bad wheel, it seems like, all year, and that's too bad because he's a good football player.
And that puts Chang over 100 yards at 102.
This time Harm's not going to fool anybody, and he gets thrown for a big loss. And on the tackle that time was Tom Darnell. Mark Peterson was also there, and so was Havard.
Harms went to the well once too often on that play, Dick, and you just can't get it done. There's that championship trophy.
And the runner-up trophy. Well, we always like to say this is the kids' game. This is their game. They deserve to be here. They won the right to be here. This is their football game. Come out and have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Harms up the middle. Mike Harms. Touchdown East High.
19 yards. Harms, his 4th touchdown of the day, and the East High Thunderbirds are blowing out the North Pole Patriots now 40-6.
What makes you think that Mike Harms may keep this tape and put it in a vault and show it to his son later in life? 4 touchdowns in a championship game. That's a dream.
Harms to hold for Erdicek. And so, with less than a minute to go in the third quarter, it is East High 41 and the North Pole Patriots 6.
Mike Harms drops back. This is the second time they've run this play, and both times they've run it, it's been a touchdown. Good blocking down the field, as you can see. Mike Harms finally gets in for 6. Good call by the Thunderbirds. Mike Harms executes real well. A lot of the things that we really don't mention, though, is the offensive line. The offensive line for the Thunderbirds, not just in this football game, but they have played well all year. They have got to be doing something up front to run the football, and obviously when you're averaging as many points as they are, they're averaging a little over 32 points a game. Somebody up front is doing something, and my hat's off to those people because they have done a great job all year for the Thunderbirds.
All right, the kick team is in now, and here is Erdicek. And one of the short men, Speckman, will grab the ball at the 20-yard line and dive across the pile. And number 38 in on the tackle for the Thunderbirds, Sean Mack. So North Pole will have the football. Trailing 41-6, still in the third quarter. And I would suspect that Bruce Shear, and he brought some extras along, Jerry Helvey, is going to start incorporating some of his younger kids and give them a little bit of valuable experience.
One of the psych measures before the game was employed by Coach Shear in that he brought 59 players and they slowly, single file, walked across the field.
Some in red jerseys.
Okay, we have to, yeah, right. Some in red jerseys from the JV. We have third quarter statistics here. 15 first downs to 8 for East. Yards rushing 246 to 63. Yards passing 81 to 58. Total offense for East 327. North Pole's gained 121. And the score 41 to 6. East over the North Pole Patriots. Here as we start the fourth quarter.
Dick, could it be laid to rest who won the third quarter? We brought that point up at the end of the half.
Well, it's the only thing we've had to talk about all year. Here's Lyman getting flushed again and thrown down by Tony Jackson.
That's about as unceremonious as it gets.
Well, he's still got that first-team defense in there.
Lehman back to pass. Tony Jackson, as you can see at the bottom of the screen now, he gets a hold. 1, 2, and a heave-ho. Oh, my. As you said, very unceremoniously throws him to the ground.
Was that a penalty?
No.
Second down and long yardage. Lyman airs it out. It's caught, but it's caught out of bounds. Dublachain over there defending on Robert Massey. Looks like that ball is sailing here in the second half on Sean Lyman.
It sure does. Dick, I just figured this out. You know, there's a 75-game win streak. The Thunderbirds have 29 games. I figure if they can win 46 more in the next 6 years and one season, they could tie the record. So we're looking at probably about 1995, and we could be talking record.
Hopefully we'll be here.
Probably in the same booth. There's a hook and ladder, and Cabe has it for some pretty good yardage. It won't be enough for a first down. He was bobbling the ball, which prohibited any movement upfield, but he did make the catch. Boy, Mr. Lyman has been running around all afternoon. Watch it.
Lyman makes the throw. Back to BJ. BJ takes it behind his head. That's it, BJ. Pulls it down. Ducks one, ducks two. Wisely hits the deck for a first down.
Fourth down, ball at the 37-yard line. They've got to get something for a first down, and here comes Lyman, and he is not going to make it. And he got ripped that time by Capafu. And the little guy just gets right up and bounces off the sideline.
Capafu, for a person his size, is showing great mobility. He's 6'1", 215. Capafu playing the middle backer. Looked like Lehman was going to be able to get the first down, and Capafu comes out of nowhere, makes the tackle, gives the ball the Thunderbirds on approximately, I'm all the time saying approximately because there's no lines, a 43-yard line. Am I right this time, Mr. Lobdell?
Well, you're only a yard off. It's at the 42, but we're not close enough for government work.
Yo.
Arms up the middle, Paul Bear. And he is near the 30-yard line. This time it was little Robert Massey drawing the chore, bringing down Paul Bear.
41-6, 10 minutes to go, and the clock is running.
Well, I understand that videotapes of this football game are available from Channel 7 here in Anchorage. If you so desire to have a tape of this game.
I would say Mr. and Mrs. Harms will be sending in.
And Bob Dorado's going to be sending some out as Christmas presents this year. Do you have my address?
I sure do.
First down, 32-yard line. Here's Bear again. Well, knowing Bruce Shear, now as soon as I say this, he's going to pull that double reverse, but knowing Bruce Shear, looks like he's just going to run the football up the middle and do what they have done all season long, run the football up the middle at will on everybody.
That's the thing to do at this point. When you're ahead 41-6, don't stop the clock. Just keep her going and get it over with so you can get your free ride.
Sperling. Peterson wraps his arms around him, and he's still not down.
Listen, that's where you got to have coaches. You can't have that. comes off the bench is gone automatically.
Has to be. The officials have to have control of this, and Mark Whitehurst is adamant.
Well, you've got to have control as a coach. You can't be out there being upset as a coach.
Well, North Pole has had a player ejected from the game. Now, we do not give names or numbers on penalty. That is our philosophy. Mark Whitehurst came out on the field, which he has no business doing, for East High. One of the North Pole coaches came out, which he has no business doing.
One of the North Pole players just kicked a flag, which could be another 15-yard penalty.
Well, there's so much debris down there in the field. I think that was what North Pole would regard as a payback for Tony Jackson slamming Sean Lyman down. We're going to look at the replay. I don't know what we'll see, but let's try.
We're just going to see an awful lot of people running into each other right there. Now, it looks like the whistle might have blown, but...
Yeah,
the whistle
okay, that's
blows.
Peterson hanging on to Sperling. Now, that was the initial play. The flag, I don't believe, had been thrown at that point.
It looked like he was trying to pull the ball loose more than anything else. In defense of him, that's what it looked like he was trying to do, because I've seen him do that 2 or 3 times a day, and what he's trying to do, he's trying to pull the ball loose. That's one of the things you teach a linebacker. Try and pull the ball loose, and after something like that happens and they're blowing the whistle, you're supposed to stop in the whistle. One of the things you do not want to see, you do not want to see ball players coming off the bench onto the field.
I agree.
It's hard to believe that the East bench didn't get a penalty there.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Mark Whitehurst should have a penalty for coming out on the field for whatever reason he came out on the field, and the East High bench should have a penalty for the players who were not in the game coming out on the field. And Bruce Shear waits until everything has calmed down, and now he comes out to talk to his team. And Bill Bauer's over talking very calmly with Todd Larson. This is not a contact sport. It's a collision sport.
It is a collision sport. It's something you don't want to see in any kind of sporting event, that's for sure. You've got to have control. It's a collision sport, and you've got to have control. When you're down 41-6, I know it's frustrating, but still, you've got to be under control. You cannot be out of control at any time, especially if you're one of the coaches. Believe me.
Well, that's up to the officials.
That's your primary responsibility.
Yeah, we're not criticizing the 2 coaches for coming out, because we know what they were trying to do, but I think it's the officials' decision and prerogative to, if those coaches come out there and they're supposed to have control of the game, so you got no business out here, and that's an automatic penalty.
Well, first of all the players on the field, the officials can control that, but when you start letting people come off the sidelines onto the field, then you don't have control.
And you know what the kids on the sideline were doing? They're just going out there and protecting their buddies. They don't even think about it. They just react.
That's exactly right.
And the play was over towards the east side. Had it been over towards the North Pole side,
we could have had an opposite situation.
We actually did have one player come off the North Pole bench, and one of the coaches must have yelled to him because he stopped short and no one followed him.
Bill Bauer is still talking with Todd Larson during the timeout. Well, this crew has 71 years experience, and I imagine they've been through this a few times before.
I'm sure they have.
Conversation is over.
That was a good timeout, I think, by North Pole. I think.
Let everybody cool down?
Sure. In fact, it would have been a good timeout by the officials just to make the call. But I think Larson wanted to get an interpretation of what went about. Well, back to the football game.
Ball at the 10-yard line. This is Harms on a keeper, Mike Harms. He got tripped up and gets down inside the 5-yard line. Robert Massey, but he was initially tripped up
by
Derek
penalty.
Gurley, another penalty.
Holding against East.
This is a good time to have a good, strong officiating crew, and we do have one, and I can guarantee you that this game will not get out of control because of the people out there. They will not let this game get out of control. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, they'll pick up the football and say, that's it, guys, if it gets too rowdy.
That's right.
Well, it's a big build-up. It's a big game for both teams. And regardless what the score is, you know as well as I do, when you're out there in the field, you play every down.
Exactly.
Ball back at the 20-yard line, first down, and about 20 to go for the T-Birds as Bear comes in motion. Harms in trouble, in a lot of trouble, and down he goes.
Going to the well one too many times. That's the second time now he's really gotten burned on that naked bootleg.
I'm sure that there was some definite adjustments made at halftime by that, because they've had good success in running at the first half.
Second down, ball back at the 28-yard line, so it is second down and 27 to go. That's how far they have to go for the first down. Sperling is going to throw. Fritz, incomplete. Mike Fritz was down there along with two defenders, Cabe and Pearson, for North Pole.
We have a penalty. I told you these officials would take charge. We have a clipping penalty, it looks like.
This is a big one. This will take it back to midfield.
Sparling.
I was just getting ready to say that the East High Thunderbirds were showing some poise. They only had 30 yards in penalties, and we were in the fourth quarter.
Mike Fritz just about makes the spectacular catch, but he doesn't, so it's just a long incompletion by Jason.
Well, I would say that the officials are definitely telling the east sideline who's running this football game. And they are calling everything on the T-Birds, and that's one way to get your attention. Third down, East High. Arms over the middle. He's got a man. That was Gary Corder, number 84, on the reception, but it'll bring up fourth down. And with the spot of the football,
I was a little amazed that they didn't take that 15-yard penalty. It was going to be a big one. As you said, it was from the spot of foul. It could have been about a 25-yard penalty. Well, I'd say at least 20 yards.
Anson Renshaw's in the ball game. Ball at the 13-yard line, and East is going to call a timeout. So Bruce Shear's not done yet.
He certainly isn't. I happened to look over there. It looks like the old junior varsity, though, is getting ready. They're having a big huddle over there to the right side. Everybody seems to be looking to see if they're ready to go. So he may be running that second unit in there and see what happens after they score the touchdown, that is.
Yeah, they're working out.
He actually brought... When Shear called the timeout this time, he took out 3 of his second-string running backs. Bear's in there now. Jason Sperling is back in. He took out Brad Stiles and 2 other running backs, so they're going to go for this. Yeah, that's the first unit. Jason Sperling, Eugene Chang, Harms. Erdechek's in there now, looking like he's going to kick.
There is still 7 minutes plus to go in the football game, and I think, Coach, this is the first team's last chance to score a touchdown.
It's going to be their last hurrah. It looks, as you say, it looks like Erdechek's in there. Erdechek, who's a junior and has been kicking the ball real well. Of course, these kickers, you know, they're a funny breed. They feel they can kick and make it from anywhere.
Hey, now, wait a minute.
41-6 and 7 minutes to go.
Yeah. Come on, this would only be a 30-yard field goal.
How come you're always picking on us kickers?
Us kickers? Were you a kicker?
That's right, I was a kicker.
Well, I know you didn't kick any field goals.
That proves your point right there, doesn't it?
Well, it shocks me.
Erdechek on the field goal. Now it's a fake. He's got his man, but it's going to be short. North Pole was not fooled. So the North Pole Patriots will take over the football with just over 7 minutes to go in the game, deep in their own territory. And they will spot the ball right about the 9-yard line.
It looks like it. The Thunderbirds still have their first unit defense in there, though.
Sean Lyman, the quarterback. And the second man through. And another flag. Looks like
Well,
a
1,
hit.
2, 3. I can tell you what the call is. When the person's down, and I like the call. When the person's down, you stay off him. Somebody came in there and hit the back after he was down. It's a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty. If you come in there and hit him with the headgear, then you really got a problem, because that's an automatic ejection.
Running back in there is Derek Beatty, who is a freshman, 5 feet 8 inches tall and 133 pounds. So it's a 15-yard penalty assessed against the Thunderbirds for a late hit, and that'll bring the ball out to the 29-yard line. And a first down for the North Pole Patriots. Two penalties. Jerry Helvey, are you still roaming around down the sidelines?
Yes, I'm down here, Dick.
What's going on down there?
Well, I can't tell either. I have a slight uphill view from the sideline here, and on that penalty, I saw 3 flags go down. I did see the late hit, but I didn't see what the other penalty assessed here was for.
Okay, it's all the way out to the 43-yard line where it's first down North Pole. And this is the freshman, and he dives across the 50-yard line. Derek Beatty. So Todd Larson is giving some of the youngsters a chance to play, as is Broshear, as he has a lot of his second-line people in there. Sean Mack is in there. 77, Brent Ferguson is in there to tackle. Emmett Barnes, 33, is in there. 26, Mike Waller. And trying to go to the outside, and not much there. Robert Johnson remains in the game. That was Beatty on the carry. Johnson is a junior. So it looks like all the seniors are out of there pretty much, although I see Eugene Chang is still in the lineup. Third down for North Pole, ball at the 50. Just over 5 minutes to go in our football game. And the Thunderbirds leading 41-6. Tony Jackson is still in there. Let's try to pick up the numbers as we can. And another penalty. Well, it was a good thought while it lasted, Dave, and now the T-Birds are starting to pick up the penalties here in the second half.
Yeah, we've seen this before. That's still only 65 yards in penalties. That's half of what they've had in probably 2/3 of their games this year.
This last 5-6 minutes has been ugly football.
A lot of frustration out there, and Lyman puts it up in the air. Emmett Barnes on the interception, and he is grabbed and down by Jackie Atkins. Lyman has had problems throwing the football here in the second half, and that was just a rainbow job up in the air, and Emmett Barnes had to wait and wait.
Lyman's under pressure. He gets hit, but he does throw the ball up in the air. Of course, Emmett Barnes plays it well. The ball is short, makes the interception. First down for the Thunderbirds on the 24-yard line.
All right, let's see what the East High Thunderbirds second unit can do. They need another player in there. Looks like Mike Harms is still in at quarterback, and we'll have to check the running backs. Nick Colbert comes in.
We have a delay of game.
Delay of game against the T-Birds. Too much time to get organized. Well, there's one of the North Pole cheerleaders.
I mean, we're talking major substitutions now. Holy Toledo. Looks like a fire drill out there, doesn't it?
Whoops, I see Bear still in there.
Yeah, he's got his good
Styles. Here is a flag on the play, and this is Paul Bear. And he rumbles for some yardage, but let's check the flag. 64 is in there for the T-Birds. Jason Hansen at a tackle. Number 50 is in there. Robert Malone still. He's a starter. Talking to the North Pole captains. Another penalty against the T-Birds.
The Thunderbirds, what they're trying to do, they're trying to get some of the younger players in, and they just don't quite have it organized enough to get them out there. And, you know, they got too many people. They've got motion going. They're not used to playing together, probably, this group of kids right now, and that they're probably not going to execute real well this last 4 minutes either.
Just over 4 minutes to go in our football game. It is 41-6. The East High Thunderbirds. Todd Larson goes out to talk to his defense, and Bruce Scheer goes out and talks to the offense of the East High Thunderbirds. Well, it's unfortunate that we have had a couple of incidents to kind of take the sparkle off this football game, because it has been a hard-hitting football game regardless of the score.
I have to agree with you. There's some of the shot. Now that's what we're calling third string right there. They're practicing the huddle, Dick. So that'll tell you something right there, folks. I mean, they are going deep, deep, deep into their depth chart when they practice the huddle.
Boy, those kids are just pumping over there, wondering if they're going to get in the game for a series.
I'm going to tell you a little story when we're done here about my very first varsity football game. Wow.
All right, Thunderbirds. Pretty much Harms is still the quarterback. Styles. And Brad Styles goes down just over the 15-yard line. And on the tackle, 32, Chad Alaniva, for the North Pole Patriots.
Well, I haven't forgot my story. I'm still going to tell it. I'm still going to tell it.
Second down at the East 19-yard line.
Go!
Up the middle. It is a bear of a man. Paul Bear. He's had a big afternoon.
Bear has had. I'm glad to see it. I don't think he's gotten the recognition he should have, but I'm the guy who's up here tooting his horn every day. Dick, I was a sophomore in high school. I got to make the varsity trip. I was goofing around, taking my nap. All of a sudden, the head coach walked in and said, "You're going to start." I telling you what, he told me that at 4 o'clock. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything.
Jason Sperling still on his feet and stumbles his way across the 35-yard line. Let's see where they say the knee touched at the 36, and it's a first down for the T-Birds. Nice little run here by Jason Sperling.
Jason Sperling, inside, cuts outside, breaks a tackle right there, keeps his feet. Jason Sperling makes a good run.
First down at the Thunderbird, 36, and the clock is running just over 3 minutes to go. 41-6 T-Birds as they wrap up their 29th consecutive victory over a 3-year period. Here's Styles. Brad Styles, as they grab him along the leg.
People have to realize, even though North Pole lost this game, they're 8-1. That's not bad. If you tell a football team you're going to be 8-1, all these coaches would be jumping up and down saying, "Hey, 8-1, I'll take it." So they're not really losers. You know, they're playing for a championship game and they're not winning this game, but hey, they're still. That's a great record.
Arms throws. He's got Emmett Barnes, and Emmett gets swarmed under at the midfield stripe. Another flag down on the play. In on the tackle, Kelvin McHenry.
Shirley, you're the captain.
And number 5, Jason Vargas on the tackle for North Pole. And again,
Mike Harms makes the fake. Raises up, hits Emmett Barnes. Emmett Barnes struggles and gets the first down, it looks like. We do have a penalty on the play, though, as they say.
Take it, Derek.
And the call is illegal receiver downfield. That means one of those linemen who've been practicing and not knowing exactly when they're going to be in. All of a sudden, when the ball's thrown, you can't not go past a 2-yard span, and obviously one of them did. So that's what the call was.
Third down. Ball at the 36-yard line. Harms puts it in the air, and it is caught for first down yardage. Nice catch that time. And that was Brad Stiles. Oh, I beg your pardon, 84. Gary Corder. Thought it was 34.
Mike Harms drops back, throws the ball in there. Did you say it's Gary Cotter?
Gary Corder.
Corder. Good catch.
First down, Thunderbird. Right at the 50-yard line. Here is Brad Stiles. And he cuts it back up for some pretty good yardage.
All right, let's bring in those guys who've been practicing that thing. All right, get them in there. Here they come. All right.
Here they come.
You gotta love it.
Hooray for Hollywood. Here it comes, folks.
Give me your seat.
I mean,
and the offense goes exit stage left.
Hey, yo, yo, yo.
Well, the Thunderbird regulars celebrate on the far sideline, and now the biggest thrill of the day.
Bruce Shears right in the middle of the entire group. 3 minutes to go, a minute and 48 seconds ago. He said, okay, now you're the guard, you're the center, you're the tackle. Now, get out of here. We got too many guards. Get in here. He's got another guy coming in. Now you're the guard. You're the tackle. He's got him coming in and out, checking and jiving. Bruce, good job. They got a quarterback. They're throwing water on the other side. Let's see what happens here. Who's the quarterback?
Well, I'm going to wait and tell you here in just a minute.
Number
Looks like
12.
Number 12. That's that could have been Jamie Erdachek, but it's not. That's the other jersey.
Number 45 with the carry.
Look at the excitement. Is there anything like Excellent.
Minute and 33 to go. And I think Troy Tolbert is now in at quarterback. He is. Troy Tolbert, number 10. Up the middle for some yardage. Short yardage. We got some guys in the air we don't even have on the roster. But at this point, it really doesn't matter. These kids are getting this. To me, this is the biggest thrill of the game. Seeing these young kids who have labored on the junior varsity all year long suit up for the championship game and get in.
It looked like he got the first down. They get to run another series, it looks like.
Chris Kahn on the carry.
Here we are looking at the future Thunderbirds of yesterday, and they are going to be the Thunderbirds of tomorrow. So here we go. 37 seconds to go. The clock is running. Oh, they would love to get one on the board, but I don't think they'll get it done.
Fumble.
And that could be the last play of the ball game. 20 seconds on the clock.
They're running people in like a track meet out there, Coach.
Well, there's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. They got it off.
Tolbert. The East High Thunderbirds, for the third year in a row, have won the State High School Invitational Championship with a 41-6 victory over the North Pole Patriots. Players going to go out and shake hands after a hard-fought football game. And Jerry Helvey, there is Todd Larson, shaking hands with Mike Whitehurst. Two college buddies there, Frank Kamerick and Todd Larson. Kenny Traxsinger, also a good friend of Todd Larson. wait for the presentation of the trophies. And both the coaches, Bruce Scheer, Todd Larson, presenting the trophy to Todd Larson. And now waiting for Bruce Scheer. And as soon as you get over there, Jerry, give us a holler.
If anyone was wondering about total offense for the East High Thunderbirds, 19 first downs, 290 yards rushing, 114 passing for 404 yards.
All right, Jerry.
Coach, I want to present you with a first place trophy, 3 years in a row. Outstanding accomplishment, and congratulations on a fine season.
Thank you. Are we on the air?
We're on the air, Coach.
Well, I tell you what, this is great for all the guys that worked so hard, and for the guys before us, we did it again, and for guys after these guys, good luck to all of you.
Coach, we've been here a lot of times.
Hey, Jerry.
We won't get to finish it. There we go.
Celebrate. I mean, hey, this has been a lot of work, a lot of success, and it's been a lot of success also for the coaching staff. Jerry, one of the questions, if you can hear me, I'd like to know is what is Bruce's future lie in store at this point, knowing that he's teaching at Chugiak?
Coach, I've got him here with me. Let me ask that question. The question we've had is, what is the future for you, Coach, now that you're teaching at Chugiak? What plans do you have? Can you tell us?
Well, as of right now, I'm kind of in limbo because I told East that I'd do it for 1 year, and right now I'm not going to make any plans, and I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this and coach a little basketball and just sit back and savor the win.
Well, that's great. I know that you've had some real good success in other sports, and do I understand that you'll be coaching basketball as well as track at Chugiak?
Yes, I'm the head girls basketball coach out at Chugiak, and I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a lot of fun.
Jerry, I've got a question for you. I told
Nick has got a question.
I told Bruce I was going to ask him this question. He's had 3 teams out here. Which one does he think was the best of the 3 football teams?
Coach, you've seen 3 teams out here. Which one do you think is the best of the 3?
Well, I think this is the best team at not making mistakes. You know, I think I had a more physical team last year, and I think the year before, I think we were a little hungrier the year before, but they're all great, and we've played some great people to get here, and you know, I just think this is a real tribute to our conference because you know, we were well tuned for this game. We played some tough teams before we got here, and when we got here, we're ready to play anybody.
Do you think that last week, when you got a couple of players ejected, that the play this week, the officials allowed the kids to play, or did that have any factor in it?
Well, we talked to them before, and we told them it was a big game, and we don't like to see anybody fighting, and if there's any fist thrown or kicking or anything like that, we want them ejected. But if they're shoving, you know, it's a high-intensity game. Shoving and pushing, as long as they stop it when the officials tell them to stop it, then that's fine.
Some of your other games, you had a lapse in the 3rd quarter, and then you came on to really finish strong. Today, you really took charge 3rd quarter. Any preparations, any adjustments that you made at halftime that lent itself to that?
Well, I think we didn't make any adjustments at half. We felt we could do whatever we wanted, and all we talked about is a few little fine points, and we really kind of kept them warm and talked to them. We listened to their comments, and then we gave them a pep talk. It's been hard to motivate this team in the 3rd quarter because we're usually in a commanding lead in the 2nd quarter, and it's really tough to get them fired up, but this one is a little special.
Hey, Jerry, ask Bruce when he decided to put in the young kids at the end. They were so fired up over there warming up.
Coach, the question that Lob has for you is, what made you decide, or when did you decide to go ahead and put the young kids in?
Well, we told them if we had a commanding lead, and they'd have the last 2 minutes if we were on offense. we really were shuttling our other people in. We don't really have much of a second team. Most of the people go one way, and we have a couple of exceptions. Our second team quarterback was David Duplessis, and he said he'd rather not quarterback. So we made pre-plans on that. They'd already worked out the plays and all that. They're ready to go.
What do you see in store for East next year? You've had a strong team 3 years. We've heard that the cycle is 2, and then you've hung on for a 3rd year to be undefeated. What about next year?
Well, there's kids still in the hallways that should be out playing football, and our JV team improved considerably, and that's what we asked of them. And our C team really came on strong at the end, and we have some young kids that are going to really step up and surprise. You know, you always wonder whether you're going to fill the shoes of these guys, but when they see this kind of representation, this kind of example, you know, they know what's expected of them, and when we tell them we want them to work, they understand why we're asking them to work.
Hey, Jerry?
Yes, Dick, go
ask
ahead.
Bruce now that the football season's over if he's going to go duck hunting this year.
Last question for Mr. Lobdell. Now that football is over, what about duck hunting?
I don't duck hunt. Frank's the duck hunter, and we talked about that on the way to the practice, on the way to the office this morning, and he said, what duck hunting? Because we haven't really had a chance to.
Coach, you've had 3 outstanding years. We knew that before you came to Anchorage, you were a great coach. You had good success in Kenai. You took your lumps that first year here at East, and then you've come on to establish an outstanding record. We'd just like to compliment you, tell you what a fine job that you and your staff have done in setting a remarkable accomplishment at East High, and that's, of course, what athletics is all about. It builds pride in the school, pride in kids, and you've done an outstanding job in fostering that, and we want to commend you for it.
Thank you very much. I think my coaches, you know, should accept a lot of that commendation too. Mark Whitehurst and Frank Merrick did an outstanding job, and they got great rapport with the kids.
Well, wherever you're at, Chugiak or East, whatever the fate has in store for you, good luck, Bruce. You've done a great job.
Thank you very much.
All right, Bruce here and Jerry Helvey, and we said this on the radio, and I guess we'll give you one more chance, like kind of a proud stepfather there. Coach the radio, you turned the reins over to Bruce. He had a couple of down years his first couple of years, but I'd say he's come on pretty well, and I know you're probably just like a proud papa.
Well, Bruce, there's no question. Bruce is what can be said that hasn't been said about what they've done in the last 3 years. It's been a tremendous thing, and I don't know of very many coaches that could have came in and did what he has done. I really believe that, and Bruce has a lot to be proud of, and I'm really glad for the school because there's a school that's awfully proud and they're rich in tradition in athletics, so it's great to see. Boy, if we can get a shot, Dick, of these little guys running in. Can you get a shot of these guys running in right by the gate, Tom Morgan? Oh, there they are. Look at that. We're talking future stars right here.
By the way, we might mention that coming up is the Boys Club Championship. The 3rd and 4th graders will play at 5:30. The 5th and 6th graders will play at 6:30. And the 7th and 8th graders will play at 8 o'clock tonight. And Jerry Helvey with the star of the game.
Yes, I've got quarterback Mr. Arms here with me. I wanted to get him on to let him know what a fine job he did today and what a fine job he's done in leading the team all year long. Mike, how did you see the game going into it? Did you think that North Pole was an 8-0 team and could give you the kind of game that might give you trouble today?
Well, we had to take it one game at a time. Coach, he gives us good.
Arms, you lose your razor.
He gives us good scouting reports on the team. He shows us everything they do. We knew every play that they were going to run. We had everything set for the game.
You had an outstanding day running. You threw the ball today also. Did the game plan call for a throwing game as well as a running game?
He was going to mix it up today, have half running, half passing. We didn't need to pass. We could do it with the run. We have all year, and we did it again today.
What lies in the future for you as a football player? College? Where? What do you think?
All I need is a chance. That's all I need. I don't know where I'm going to go to school.
No special plans yet?
No special plans.
Okay. We want to congratulate you and the East High team again. Great season, good high school year.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, the East High Thunderbirds, 29 in a row, their third straight Invitational Championship, and we hope that the folks up north enjoyed the broadcast as well as the folks at Anchorage. Our final score this afternoon from the Anchorage Football Stadium, East 41, North Pole 6. For Jerry Helvey, Dave Foreman, the coach Bob Dorado, I'm Dick Loudbell, as we thank the people who make us look good all season long. You've been watching high school football from the Anchorage Football Stadium. Good night, everybody.
Presentation of Cook Inlet Sports is made possible in part by a grant from Anchorage Refuse Incorporated, serving the Anchorage area's collection needs for over 20 years, and by Tesoro Alaska Petroleum Company, now more than ever energizing Alaska.
Give me a home by the buffalo rooms, and you get a dirty home. Oh my God, no. See, again, I have to bother myself up. On the farm, you got to smell. You know, there's so much to it, to land. In the city, you put Chanel on, whatever. But in the country, you know, that's the real smell. And I will paint some kind of a farmland, a far-away farmer, and the acreage. What I want to do with this particular painting, I hope I can wake you up about perspective. And I really want to put acre, like a plowed land, there's a wheat, or there's a different grain, and I will put even a fence in, far away running in there, and a road coming down there, and maybe big trees on this side. And see, I got to have it all finished in my mind. If you can see whatever you want to do, roughly finish. And like I said, with the smell, with the tune, there's so much to it. Maybe some people laugh about you when I said, you got a dirty home, but there's a different home there. It is not a city home. And you have to live with that. And when you live with that, it's a happy way of living. Okay, let's make a far-away sky. I will not put too much effort on my sky. I just put a happy blue sky. And again, always, it's maybe good for someone who tuned in now to see a happy blue sky. We start from the top. It starts from the top. Now we did it so often already, but the idea is great. When you get the idea, this you mix on the canvas. See, I come forwards, and the depth, it gets lighter because the white, the magic white on the canvas goes into my brush, and it gets lighter, 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 lighter. And already you see a deep sky for far away. So before I start, I always have to remind you, I put the magic white on. I just don't want to waste time. I hope you understand it, because it would be awful. You can put white on any post, on any house. So it's the same thing. You put the magic white on, and it is wet, and then you fire in. So as long as you understand that, you know what makes you move. So it is wet and wet and wet and wet and wet and wet. All right, see, but not too much paint. Wash your brush, And always I like to hypnotize the whole thing